heavyweights meet above the cold sky, America's F-15 Eagle and Russia's Su-27 Flanker. One wins from beyond visual range with radar and AMRAAM. The other owns the knife fight with high alpha moves. Tonight, we strip it all down to one rule: guns only. No missiles, no excuses. When range disappears and nerves take over, who walks away? These two end up in every bar debate and sim survey. For one reason, they were built to beat each other. The F-15 Eagle was born from a scare. When the Soviet MiG-25 ripped across the map at extreme altitude and speed, the US Air Force wrote a brutal requirement: absolute air superiority. No compromises, no bombs under the wings, not a pound for air to ground. McDonnell Douglas answered with a twin-engine hammer. Two Pratt & Whitney F-100s give the Eagle a thrust-to-weight ratio greater than 1. Push the throttles, and it goes up even heavy. Up front, the APG-63 radar later, modernized all the way to ASA, let the Eagle find sort and kill before anyone saw contrails. Weapons match the doctrine: AIM-7 Sparrow, AIM-9, Sidewinder, and the game-changer, AIM-120 AMRAAM. For close work, there's the M61 Vulcan. Top speed around Mach 2.5. Tanker support gives it reach. Most important, the record 100-plus air-to-air kills, 0 losses in air combat, written by Israel, the US, and Saudi Arabia from Lebanon to the Gulf to the Balkans. Variants came and went. CD for air dominance, E for deep strike, EX for the new era. But the promise stayed the same. See first, shoot first, leave first. Across the line, Sukhoi's answer was the Su-27 Flanker, a purpose-built counterpunch. The Soviet brief leaned into different strengths, long range, to guard huge frontiers, a big lifting body and wings, for authority at high angles, of attack and control, at the slow speeds, where geometry, not just raw speed, wins. Twin AL-31F engines push the Flanker to roughly Mach 2.35, but its party trick isn't dash, it's how the jet hangs on the wing. Big surfaces, a blended for body, and powerful controls give it nose authority to point, bite, and force the fight on its terms. The N001 radar started the sensor suite track many, engage a few, and the weapons defined the close-in threat R-27 for medium range and the R-73 Archer with a helmet-mounted sight for lethal off-bore sight shots. That helmet cueing stunned NATO the first time they met it. From there, the family branched out Su-30, Su-33, Su-34, Su-35, and Chinese derivatives like J-11 and J-16. In combat, the Su-27 hasn't fought as widely as the Eagle, but it did notch kills in the Ethiopia-Eritrea war against MiG-29s and serves across Russia, China, India, Vietnam, and more. What separates them today is BVR. The Eagle's radar and AMRAAM stack the deck before the merge. WVR is where the Flanker's high alpha control helmet cueing and instantaneous turn rate can turn a timeline into a fistfight. One jet bends the fight at 20 miles, the other tries to bend you at 200 yards. But this is DCS, and tonight, the lab is simpler guns only. No AMRAAMs, no Archers, no excuses. When all you have is a gun, the winners manage energy, geometry, and closure under G. Yank early, and you bleed knots. Chase the jet, not the flight path, and you overshoot. Stay patient in the control zone, and the pipper comes to you. Expect both games 2 circle rate fights, where the Eagle shines, and 1 circle snaps, where the Flanker bites. You may see a Cobra spectacular, but only lethal if the bandit behind you mishandles closure. Strap in. We'll start on the Flanker's
Breathing heavily through
1
mask.
circle first, and see if an Eagle can do what it wasn't born to do. 1 circle on purpose. We're stepping into the Flanker's house. I bias the throttles afterburner on the right, the left back to mill power. That's differential thrust. I'm not shutting an engine down. I'm creating a thrust imbalance to help the jet roll and point now, not almost. He flashes past the canopy, blue and big. I dip the nose, then slice back up. First burst goes low tracers under his belly. He pitches down for a nose-on snap. I unload just a hair to keep the knots in the bank, then add rudder and a touch of aileron. The split thrust finishes the roll like a hammer. Spark on the wingtip, call it a flesh wound. Structure's fine. Lift's there. Don't chase the jet. Fly the path. I set the lift vector on start the lead turn. I don't want him crossing behind me. I want him crossing my nose. The one circle is about instantaneous turn and alpha his game, so I'm buying nose authority without throwing away all my energy to get it. He tries to float the nose down again. I keep it patient, tiny squeeze, not a spray. Short M61 burst. Hits. The flanker steps out flat and ugly. I hold high and outside no hero dive for wreckage. Confirm the kill. Another short burst as he tumbles. Splash one flanker. Differential thrust bought me the pointing moment I needed, and because I managed energy unloaded, when I had to resisted the urge to yank, I still have options if this had continued. Quick takeaway one circle favors his instantaneous turn. Two circle favors my sustained rate. But tools matter. A simple throttle split gave the Eagle enough roll-yaw coupling to steal a shot on his turf. Protect energy first. The shot comes second. That's one in his house. Next, we flip the script and fight where the Eagle lives rate and patience. We just stole a one-circle win on the flanker's turf, earned with a throttle trick and patience. But every win comes with a bill. In the merge, and right after the real enemies are over G and wake turbulence. A hard celebratory yank at the top of a lead turn can spike lift faster than you think. That brief overshoot of limit load doesn't care how clean the HUD looks. Structure bends, spars fatigue, and sometimes wings fail. Then there's wake. The flanker's big wing sheds heavy vortices. Cut through that spiral right after your burst, and you'll feel roll-up set, buffet, maybe a sudden departure when you're slow and high alpha. Add low altitude or a victory low pass, and you're gambling with very poor odds. Discipline after the trigger pull matters unload to one. G, quick checks, climb back to the perch, reset the timeline. Take the shot, skip the victory lap. Over G, exceeding structural load limits, potential damage, failure. Wake turbulence opponent's wing vortices, causing roll-up set, buffet, departure. Rate fight, two circle by the book. We split at the merge, each taking our own circle. This is where the Eagle should live. Hold corner velocity. Keep the G honest trade altitude for knots only when it buys rate, not drama. I'm watching TAS and tape on the HUD, small unloads to protect energy, then back to a steady pull. He shows me a tempting aspect, just a sliver of canopy. I feel the urge to yank for a quick snapshot. Don't, not here. I ease a touch more back pressure anyway, just a little chasing that picture. AOA spikes. The nose comes around sure, but the rate dies. Airspeed bleeds faster than I can buy it back. The flanker reads it instantly. He pops into high alpha, points the nose like a turret, and my advantage evaporates. I try to unload and get back to the number, but I'm now slow inside the bubble pulling G, without the energy to sustain it. Tracers skip past the canopy. I climb to cross his nose. Bad choice. That vertical pull at low energy is a gift to a high alpha jet. He walks the pipper through my flight path. Impacts. The jet goes mushy. Controls heavy right turns only. I try to rate away, but I'm behind the airplane now, managing symptoms instead of the fight. More hits, that's it. I jettison the pride, not the lesson. Good kill. In a two-circle, the Eagle wins with patience and sustained rate, not with a hero pull. Every time I grabbed for an early shot, I paid in knots. Once the rate collapses, the flanker's instantaneous turn snaps the fight back on his terms. The fix is simple, not easy. Unload, recover energy, then pull to the plan, not the picture. AOA versus energy. Big AOA points faster but eats airspeed. No speed, no sustained rate. Principle, don't rate fight at the top of the bubble if you're slow to hot. G, unload back to corner, then pull. In real combat, guns only is rare. Fighters carry missiles and most problems are solved at range. But in DCS guns only is a deliberate constraint, a lab for BFM fundamentals. Strip away the crutches and you're left with three skills: energy management, geometry, and closure control. Energy is how long you can keep turning. Geometry is how you shape two turn circles into a firing solution. Closure control keeps you from blasting through the bandit's flight path and gifting an overshoot. Missiles can hide those weaknesses. A gun won't. The goal isn't a lucky snapshot. It's to enter, hold, and finish from the control zone with a short, stable burst. That forces discipline, stay patient, manage G, back to corner work lag, to control closure lead, only when the pipper is settling, and after the trigger unload, check reset. Win or lose the tape tells the truth. That's why guns only makes better pilots here and out there. Control zone stable volume astern of the bandit behind the 3 to 9 line where you can maintain pursuit and a steady gun solution without overshooting. He yanks a Cobra, Nose snaps to the sky, lift dumps drag spikes, looks like magic the first time you see it. It's also a speed trap. When he pitches up that hard, his forward velocity collapses. If I charge in on pure adrenaline, I'll rocket past his nose and gift him the overshoot he wants. So, I manage closure. Throttles come back, brief boards. I slide to lag instead of ramming pure lead, keep the jet slightly outside his turn circle protect angles, and watch his vector fall. I unload a beat to keep the knots I need, then add a touch of rudder to keep the pipper honest. No rush. Let gravity and drag punish his choice. He's floating, almost hanging. The big flanker looks 10 feet tall and nearly motionless, deceptive because his nose can still wag. I keep my lift vector just off his tail guard against the sudden pitch-down snap that follows a Cobra and wait for the settle. Closure's under control, aspects clean. There it is. The nose falls through rate returns, but the energy isn't back yet. That's my window. I ease to lead pursuit only when the pipper starts to walk ahead of his flight path. Tiny squeeze short, M61, burst, nothing dramatic. Hits. He steps out, mushes, then departs. I hold high, no victory dive confirmed, with a second half-second burst as he tumbles. That worked because I treated Cobra like what it is, an energy dump with a nose trick attached. Manage closure, stay in lag while he's slow, and only convert to lead when the picture stabilizes. Flash without discipline turns into a stationary target. Cobra defense. Good only if the attacker is too fast and mismanages closure. Forced overshoot. Counter reduce closure power dash boards hold lag, wait for the settle, then convert to lead for a short stable burst. He slides into cloud gray wall light chop. I don't chase the silhouette, I hold the bracket. Power comes back a touch wings level, quick scan airspeed, good AOA, sane horizon disciplined. The HUD jitters, RWR hums, and the heat tone nags, but this is where patience pays. I fly the parameters, not the panic. Small trim, tiny unload to keep the energy alive, then a gentle climb to the perch, so I don't knife fight blind at his altitude. The cloud thins there. He is low left vector short and sloppy. No spray. I ease to lag, to control closure, then float into lead only when the pipper starts to settle ahead of his turn. Lock back on, let the sight breathe. One heartbeat, tiny squeeze half second, burst through the turn. Impacts. He mushes, then departs. I stay high confirm and add a final tap as he tumbles. Snipe, shot, splash. Reset to 1G, check the tape, and breathe. Sight discipline. Prioritize position and energy first. Only take the shot when the pipper settles, no panic, spraying in weather. Two heavyweights, two doctrines, same lesson. The Eagle wins when it stays disciplined on energy and uses raw thrust to climb out of trouble, reset, and come back with rate. The flanker is most dangerous when the fight slows, angles get steep, and high alpha turns the nose into a weapon. In the real world, F-15s often don't let it get this close. Radar and AMRAAM settle the argument before the merge. That's how you protect pilots and win wars. But inside DCS, when we strip it to a single gun and a single sight picture, the fight belongs to the pilot who manages error better than the other guy. Tonight told the story. In the first round, we stole a one circle on his turf with a simple throttle split pointing without bankrupting energy. In the second, we paid for impatience. A tiny early pull, AOA spikes rate dies, and the flanker snaps the fight back. In the third, Cobra looked dramatic, but closure discipline turned it into a stationary target. In the last, Clouds tried to bait panic. Sight discipline position first, trigger second. Close the book with a clean snipe. Write the rules down if you need them. Protect energy first, the shot comes second. Don't pull for feelings, pull for the math. Control closure to neutralize show moves. After the trigger unload, check reset. Airframes, matter engines, radar's wings. But when the range collapses and all you own is a pipper, the jet amplifies your choices more than it saves them. That's the point of guns only. It forges habits that survive weather nerves and pressure. Two legends, same truth. Machines set the ceiling. Pilots decide the outcome. Strap out, clear the tape, and take the lessons with you, because the next merge always starts now.